Hi guys, it's Constance with Charming Custom Crafts, and I am starting a new series, and you guys know I like to do different series, but this one is on embellishments. I know that everybody on my page has been wanting me to try some, so you'll see me go back and forth between all the mini-series, just depends on what comes up, but I wanted to show you how to make baby buggies. These are the two that I have for samples. And this one is actually my pictorial, so you'll get a chance to see this. But there's also another option, is this, and I will show you that at the end. But I'm going to do a gender neutral one, and you can use fabric on fabric, like on this one, or you can use fabric and felt, depending on what you want to do. So you're going to need some, for this one I'm going to do green felt, and some baby material, and to save some time I went ahead and cut out the pieces. So I have a piece of green and a little baby bear that I thought was really cute. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the baby bear and you're going to configure where you want to cut the back of the baby carrier, and you're going to go ahead and cut it. And it doesn't have to be exact. It's not always an exact science. And then you're going to start to curve it. You got one flat back, and then you got a curve here. So, and then you cut the bottom edge. So now you got a piece that looks like this. Now I've done this many different ways, and I will show you. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to flip it this way. And I want to show you how I do it with this piece. You're going to take a piece of felt and you're going to fold it over. And you're going to take this piece that you just cut for the top part of the carrier, and you're going to use that as your template. So there you go. Now, this is how you'll do it. And then you're going to use a hot glue gun. I did this the wrong way. It goes this way. You're going to use a hot glue gun around that edge. So we're going to hot glue gun this. I always leave a little extra. So when I do it, and you want to lay it down because you don't want to burn yourself. So there you got part of the baby carriage. Now it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to leave this like this. What I do is I reflip it once I get that piece on, and I trim it once again because baby carriages are not exact. Only like that. So I trim it just a little bit more to give more of a boat bottom. As you can see now, you got a little boat bottom, and it's super cute. So I'm going to do the trim first before I do anything else. So we're going to add a little piece of trim right here, and don't worry about excess. So again, with the hot glue gun. And if you guys like to sew, you can sew them. I find that it's faster to use a hot glue gun when you're making a bunch of them. And you're still going to have to do extra steps, so don't worry about, by the way, the excess here. You're just going to want to try to get down. So you got that piece in. There's your nice little trim piece. And trim off that piece there, and we're going to trim off this piece here. If you're unsure, just flip it over and look. And you're going to trim around it. And we're going to trim that piece here. It acts as a stability piece. So we're going to trim around the bear. You know what? I'm going to go with pearls for the top piece instead of that, because this piece is fine. Let me open up the pearls. These are flat back pearls. So, let me find the end here. We're going to go ahead and do that. Gives it a little bit of elegance. And I think it's neutral, though I think it's turning into a little bit of a boy. You can do individual pearls, but on the flat backs, too hot glue. And I actually recommend that, but since I'm in a hurry, I'm not going to do that. That's what I normally do. And you just start sticking. Don't worry about your spiders. Love spider webs. Just keep curving it. Once you get to that edge, let it sit cool for a second. You don't want to burn yourself. And then you're going to trim it right at this edge. So now you got one piece there. And then, got a spider web, I should say. And then we're going to put a little piece here, but this one we're going to measure. We're going to pre-measure just a little bit. Okay, so it's like 4 pearls. So we're going to cut up 4 pearls. And then I'm going to lay down some more hot glue. And you'll see as you start making these that it depends on what you're using them for. And I'm going to shove this one down just a little bit. Super cute. Give it a second to cool down. If you guys notice, I have a new mat. I figured you guys were tired of seeing all the messed up part of the mat, and I'll clean that off later. So there you go on this piece. So the next piece you're going to want to make is the wheels. So what I use is, I got a bunch of these down here. I actually use buttons, and I use different design buttons. We're going to cut the shanks off here. And these are older buttons. I have a lot of old buttons that have been in my family for years. My mother gave them to me, so I can use them on my baby stuff. Which all these you'll see in future baby pages. So, and again, a little hot glue on the back. And we're going to put it down here. There's one wheel. There's the second one here. So now you got your wheels on, of course, giving it a second. Now, what you use for the handle, you're going to super love. Now, since this has a little yellow on it, I actually use paper clips. So you're going to want to pull your paper clip apart and stretch it out as far straight as you can for the best design here. And I'm looking for my tool. And here it is. Now this is a jewelry tool, or you can just go get a wire tool that you might have in your toolbox. It'll work. And I don't recommend using the tip because it'll strip the color. If you notice, it's green and yellow. I told you there was a reason, guys, that I keep paper clips. This is one of the reasons. And you just want to give it a nice little curve. And if you see how I'm holding it, and if you pull it out just a little bit. Okay, so there you got your curve. And you're not going to need all of it, so you're going to have to cut some off. And I usually like to cut it off right when it starts to curve right here. And you might have to put a little work into it. There you go. And on the back of this, take some of the spider webs away here. It's so cute. And you can see how it's starting to give it some stiffness when you start putting trim on it. So if you notice, this one's a little farther down. It depends on how you want to do it. It actually looks a little better upwards. So you're going to put some hot glue on the back. Just enough to hold it. And you're going to stick that right in there. If you can see the back here. And give it a second and it will hold. So now you got your little handle. So there you go, guys. There's your new mini-series beginning. And these are baby buggies. If you want, now on the fabric and fabric baby buggies, I would recommend using paper on the back to give it some stiffness, because otherwise, and I'll show you here, because I'm working on several of them for samples, it'll flop. And so, I mean, if you're, and I use the melted technique on some satin here. So, if you notice, it does give some stability to it. You don't have to use it. It depends on, like I said, what you're using it for. So, there's a floppy one. This is fabric and felt, but it's got stability to it. There's another way, and I wanted to show you this, that you can use non-stop felt and just do almost a circle, but make sure it's boat-like at the bottom. You could do it this way. It does give more stability to it as well if you're using felt and fabric. And you'll see these on the sample on my page for pictorial. But why don't you come follow me over at my Facebook page. The information's down below, and I'll add you. Bye, guys.